Hey, it's Cody from Tarot Readings from a Bitch. I thought I'd just hop on here. It's the end of December. This video is really kind of more, just for my own, records, I guess, just so I can look back at it. I just want to talk a little bit about, where my practice is, at the moment, the end of, 2022. Kind of some things that I've done, some of my favorites, some decks that have really stood out to me, books that I've been working with, things like that. So if that sounds interesting to you, I mean, I don't think it's going to be the most interesting thing that you've ever watched, but um, feel free to stick around and watch. So this year, 2022, has been a weird year for my practice. Just a lot of the bizarreness of 2020 and COVID and all that stuff. I feel like for a couple years there, my practice, my witchcraft, spiritual sort of practice, really just dropped off. I wasn't doing very much. I wasn't drawing cards every day like I should have been. I had I kept my kids home for large parts of it. Just, public health kind of shit. And I don't know, man, I just kind of ended up falling by the wayside. So this year, one of my, I don't really want to say goals. When I hear the word goals, I feel weird about it. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it puts pressure on me. But one of the things that I did try and work on this year was reconnecting more with my practice. So for this year, in 2021, in the summer, it was right actually around the summer solstice. I lost one of my most influential mentors. He died very suddenly. Well, I say very suddenly. But he was sick and he was dead like 2 weeks later. And I wasn't really sure exactly where that left my practice. I didn't realize sort of the places he had filled for me, and the energy exchange and just things like that, until it wasn't there anymore. I mean, I will be completely honest, I think that I took him for granted. I mean, I was certainly appreciative of him, but I don't think to the degree that I really should have been. So I feel like I probably didn't really process it until the beginning of 2022 rolled around, and I really started thinking about, if I'm rebuilding my practice, if I'm restarting my practice, what kinds of thing, how do I want it to look? And that also, I feel like, it started to inform some of the major changes that I've made in my practice. I'd mentioned in trad witchcraft tag video that I did, that I used to be a lot more, I used to call myself an atheist. I did practice witchcraft, but it was more like, it was all psychological and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that approach. I still kind of agree with quite a bit of that stuff. But I have started, I had sort of a little identity crisis there. Like, what if it isn't? What if there's actually other shit out there? And I felt silly at first. I mean, it's taken me a long time. I'm still not, I don't want to say out of it, like it's a bad thing I'm trying to escape, but I don't want to be limiting myself anymore, feeling like, if I really feel like something is like a spirit or something, you know what I mean? Being like, I'll just stop myself and be like, oh my god, that's so fucking stupid, what are you doing? Like, that's not real. Like, I do that to myself a lot, and I think that I honestly undermine my own intuition and experiences in doing that to myself. So yeah, this year I've worked a lot more. I think I've become a lot more animistic. I was as a child, and this year has really been a push forward for that, within my practice, just my worldview in general. And I'm still not sure of my ideas in my approach to like deities or anything like that, but as far as like land spirits, just smaller things like that, I'd like to think that I'm just on board with that shit now. I've had a guide who's a human with like deer antlers. Since I was a child, I'd have dreams about him and stuff. And I was always like, oh, I don't know, my psyche just came up with that for some shit. I don't know, you know how people do. Maybe you do that. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for myself personally, I'd like to just try and approach some of this stuff a little more open-minded than I personally had been before. Um, so I had got like a little, I don't know if you can see, right over there is a little green statue guy right there. I got that from a seller off Etsy, and she doesn't make anything like that anymore. I'll link her shop, but mostly just like candle holders and stuff now. But that's a guy with antlers. He doesn't have a face, which is why that's the one that actually purchased, because I don't think it's Carnunos or anything. I think it's just some kind of spirit, and I've really started working with spirits a lot more in a way, feeling like I'm approaching something outside of myself rather than a part of myself, if that makes any sense. It's just the way I'm approaching it, I guess, that's different. And I've really changed a lot of that stuff. I've also really started honoring Hestia. I got this. Oh my god, I don't know if you can see her. Luxurious statue of her. I don't know. I'm all tangled up in my ideas of deity and shit. So, yeah. Major changes this year, I think, especially. Oh my god, there's like sunbeams like on the phone. I can see them, but they're not fucking here in real life. Alright, so sometimes I have like, here I am, I'm at the word goal again. I don't really say a goal. Okay, a solid chunk of my practice is like enchanting jewelry and then wearing it for the purpose. And sometimes I get really crazy about feeling like something has to be the right one. I feel like I have spent years and years, probably, yeah, I mean, it's been years. I was gonna say my whole life, not really my whole life, but like, I've spent a lot of years, ever since I realized that you could like enchant something to be a protection to wear when you leave your house. I've been looking for the right thing. And the worst part of this is that a lot of times I like purchase these things. Oh my god, a cat. Don't do it, lady. Get down. Alright, sorry. Holy shit. I've bought like obsidian. I like rings because I like to be able to see them myself. Like if I have a necklace on, I can't see it. So my favorite jewelry type is rings because I can look down at my hands and I can see what I've got on. It reminds me that it's there, you know. So I've bought things that were labeled that they were for protection. I mean, I don't know. None of them felt right. Then I found a ring. It was hematite, and I ordered it. It was like a shop, some sort of rock shop was closing, and they were selling their like stuff online to just try and get rid of their inventory. I was like, oh my god, this is the perfect thing. And they're like, we can't find this. We think we have an employee that stole it. It's like, what the fuck? Okay. They refunded me. And a few months later, then I was looking for more hematite because I'm like, okay, maybe none of these obsidian rings or the smoky quartz rings that I've bought felt right because what I need is hematite. Then I ordered another one, and it was like, I don't know. I think it was like, I really like to buy like estate sale shit. Yeah. And so there was just the one. It was in the right size. I was like, this is obviously for me. Got lost in the mail. So that never showed up to me either. I'm like, oh my god, maybe this is not. So anyway, there was a vendor at the Renaissance Festival. And I did finally, let me see if we can get it. It's hematite. It was handmade. she didn't have it in my size made up, so I got to stand there and watch her. She had like the ring made, and I got to pick my little cabochon there. So this is finally it. I feel like it's been years worth of search to finally find my right protection ring, and I did that. So to me, that's really exciting. Also, my birthday was not very long ago, and my husband bought me a new moonstone ring. I have some. Oh no! Look at the ring. I don't know if you can see. It's a really nice stone. I had a moonstone ring. Well, okay, all right. I have several moonstone rings, but some of them are just really big, and like I have to be in the mood to like deal with that large of a ring. And so, a lot of times for ones that I just want to put on and not really think about, I like smaller ones. And the one that I had, my mother had bought me when I was like 17. Um, I've sort of alluded to this before. I'm not gonna like get into all of it. But my mother and I have gone no contact. Um, about 2.5 years ago. I drew some boundaries, and that was not something that she was willing to respect. So that was that. So every time I went to pull out the ring, it just like had that attached to it, just the energy of it, and I had a hard time getting over it. And I kept telling myself, like, this is just metal. It's a moonstone. Like, why am I being weird about this? But I mean, ultimately, I know that the reason that I even have these things is because I attach things to them, you know? And I hadn't purposefully attached this to that ring. I don't know. That's a long story to say. Looking at that ring, wearing it, made me feel weird and I didn't like it. So now I have a new one of those too. So it's been a good ring year for finding things that I was looking for. I don't know if that's a thing that anyone else would include on a yearly wrap up. All right, what else? Oh, another thing that I did this year was I finally found a deck that I feel like speaks to my antler spirit guide, which is something that I've been looking for a few years, even before I really thought of it like as some sort of entity outside of myself, even when I was just thinking it was like part of me, which maybe he is. But this is the, oh my god, I can't remember what it's called. This is a Lantern Guide deck. It's by Amy Brewer Davenport. This was an indie deck. It was limited run, I think. I don't know if there's any left. I'll link it in the description box. So this, all right. This is going to be backwards, and I don't know how to fix it. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but I'm not going to. So I feel like this is absolutely just, oh my god, the fucking sun. This is just the perfect thing. And again, something that I've been looking for several years, finally found its way to me this year. So that was exciting to me. Next I wanted to do books. I'll do decks last here. So some books that have stood out to me this year. The first one I've got here is the Book of Seances by Claire Goodchild of Black and the Moon. This book actually was just released, I think, mid-October this year, 2022. And it's one of those kind of books that I just wish had existed sooner for me in my practice. I do a lot of divination types of things. And this book is really about different types of divination through the lens of using them for a seance to, contact the dead. I feel like even if you're not that into connecting with, spirits of deceased humans or whatever, it would be good for spirit work anyway, right? But it's just, this book is just so well done. It's straightforward. It has enough like background so you okay, it has enough background for each of the types of divination that it talks about, which is quite a few in here. so that you don't feel like you're just out there flailing in the wild. You know where it came from, you know, it's a little bit of a foundation to stand on, but before you get bored being like, how long am I gonna have to fucking read about this, it moves on. It's got practical exercises for like practicing doing any of these. And this is just such a cool book. I recommend this. I read it through, which was enjoyable to begin with. And then I've also just been referring back to it. There's Claire Goodchild is the artist and creator of the Memento Mori Oracle deck, the Antique Anatomy Tarot, Compendium of Constellations. She's got quite a few decks. She's had some indie. She's had one mass market, I think, at this point. And so her artwork is in here every once in a while. It's just, this book is like a wealth of information. Love this. I'll put a link for where you can get this book in the description box. Alright, this might seem kind of weird for me to be including this on here, but I don't give a shit. I'm also going to include some fiction books. The number one books that I read are fiction. I love fantasy shit. And these books didn't necessarily come out this year. Well, the second one might have, right? There's two. I think it's going to be a trilogy. I don't know. I think the second one might have come out this year. But I discovered the first one of these this year. The first is called The Mask of Mirrors. It's by N.A. Carrick, which is actually two other like modern fantasy writers writing together under this name. And it's got like tarot reading in it, but it's called patterning or something like that. Pattern cards, or the people that do it are called patterners or something like that. And the cards are different too. Like like the Mask of Mirrors is the name of one of the cards. There's a lot of them. It's so fucking cool, and it runs. It's just so very well put together, and it runs like parallel to tarot, I would say. If a deck doesn't come out like this, like a pattern deck doesn't at some point hit the fucking shelves, I'm gonna just shrivel up and die somewhere. I want this. There's also like a little spread in here. I mean, you can do it with tarot cards. I think it might be fun. Maybe I'd do a little video of it. I've thought about that. It's not that complicated. It's just cool. There's an entire written little ritual and specific, you know, words that you say as you lay the cards. It's just so cool. It's got, you know, magic and political intrigue and shit. These are the Rook and Rose, I think, trilogy. Second one's called The Liar's Knot. I think the third one's going to be out in March of 2023. I don't know. I'm really excited about that. And I'm not going to lie. I take things from like fake ass fantasy fiction books and shove it in my practice because I want to. So I really, really recommend these books. I haven't found anyone else who's read these. I mean, other people had to have read these. I don't know where they are. I don't know how to find them. I'm not really interested in like fandom shit. Yeah, I guess I am. I don't know. But these books are so fun, especially as a tarot reader, to see a lot of the stuff. There's just so much to like in here. Alright, so I'll move on from those. I wasn't supposed to be talking about like fiction books this whole time. Alright, so standout decks. Again, these are not necessarily decks that came out this year. I think actually only one, maybe two. These are just ones that I've been working with a lot this year. The first one I have to mention, you're gonna be annoyed to see this. This is the Dream Keeper's Tarot. And it is... I have gotten along so well with this deck. I've used it so much since I got it. And I got it in a trade that I honestly did not really think I was going to be that into. But I was like, well, the deck that my friend Mary wanted to trade me this for I wasn't using. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'll try it. I'm willing to try things. So yeah, this deck and I have been really good friends, and it did not come out 2022. I don't actually know when it came out. No, it doesn't even have. Oh yeah. Nope, it was 2020. So it's like 2 years old. Almost 3 at this point or something, I think. I don't know. I don't care. Alright, next up we have... This is the Dreaming Way Tarot. This, I think, came out in like 2012 or something. Not new. This copy is not new. This was one of those ones that I have on my little secondhand list that I kind of just keep so that I just keep an eye for them on like buy-sell trade groups, you know. I did edge it. I think that was pretty close. So if you haven't seen The Dreaming Way, it's just got the weirdest energy. It's not an energy that I have discovered in any other deck. And at first I wasn't really sure. I've gone back and forth on this deck for several years. Sometimes I'll see someone post a picture or see him using it in a video. I'm like, okay, maybe I do want that deck. It looks kind of cool. But then I see like this fucking card. I'm like, I don't need whatever the fuck's going on right there. So I've gone back and forth on this deck. Finally I saw it. I went ahead and got it. I used copy. I think it had fanning powder on it or something. So like after you touched it, you could like feel kind of like a film on your hands. It's finally wearing off. I use this a lot. My husband is a nurse in an emergency room, so every night he works night shifts, so he has me draw a couple cards just to kind of see what the energy of the night's going to be, and this is the deck that I've been pulling from, and it's been really accurate. So yeah, I'm really into this deck in a way that I wasn't sure that I was going to be. So that's a deck that I've really been into. This is one I'm not sure if it came out before this year or not. This is the mini Gentle Tarot by Maria in the Sky. I have the full-size version. I've mentioned this before in my tarot journaling stuff that has kind of morphed. Well, I'll show you that in a little bit. After the decks. But this, my printer is also like a scanner and a copier, and a lot of those have the ability to like copy something at a less percentage than 100, but not mine. So everything that I put on there to copy is 100%. So I've really been having a good time. I think I got the Gentle Tarot last year, 2021, like in the summer or something. And so considering I always have to copy the cards 100%, when I was finally able to get a copy of the mini pocket edition, I jumped on it. So this is what I use. I do Boho Tarot's Simple Sunday spreads every Sunday. So these are the ones I use. It's easy to put cards this size, you know, copies of them this size in there. It's not like I'm having to pick and choose what cards get to go in there and what ones, you know, don't get pictured. So I've been having a good year with the Gentle Tarot, but mostly this pocket edition one. I will say the colors are a little bit brighter on the mini one than the full-size one. And actually, I like the more muted colors, but I can't sit and bitch about everything. Sorry, I'm having a like. There's my altar. Another one I think you guys are going to get sick of hearing about. This is the Weaver's Oracle. I just recently did a video about using decks with depth or some shit like that, and talking about, you know, how I specifically use this deck. But this was gifted to me earlier this year, and I have really been just using the hell out of this deck. I can't imagine being without this now that I have it. I will say that it is quite pricey. Um, it's indie. It's not the easiest deck to get in your collection. It's an investment. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Um, so yeah, this deck has been very important in my practice. Drawing one of these cards from this each new moon and or full moon. And then the way the guidebook is set up is like a little myth, sort of, about the woman pictured on the card, and just the way that it can relate to my life for that time. The way I've been setting up my journal for that has been, I write a little bit about it when I draw it, and then the next, whether it's going to be new or full or whatever I'm doing at that point, I reflect on it. And that, I feel like this has really been deepening my practice personally. I don't even know if it's so much the deck as much as it's been the way I've been using it. But at this point, I can't imagine being without it. So the last deck that I have to show you, this did come out just this year. Maybe about a month ago now. This is an indie deck, The Endless Oracle. It's by Eric Mail, who also created and did the artwork and everything for the Ink Witch Tarot. So this deck is, let me get it out here. I love this deck. It's so cool. The idea of it, I love the artwork on it. It's so easy. I guess the way my brain works perfectly with the way that this is. It's a very storytelly sort of deck. You know, tell me a story about my own life. So this is the kind of deck I feel like I'm probably going to just have out all the time. I have a drawer where my decks are supposed to go. I don't know if you can see, but there's like stacks of shit on this wall, like up there. Those are ones, some of them the boxes are just too big for me to put somewhere else, but for some of them it's just that I haven't ever put them away because I don't ever stop using them. So this one has been that for me. Again, sorry, these are backwards. If I really gave that much of a shit, I could probably figure out like turning this around, but I'm not going to, I won't lie. So those have been the decks that have really stood out for me this year. Sorry, I'm putting this away. Some decks I just feel it's more disrespectful than others to just like throw the cards out, not in a box. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to mention is my tarot journaling practice that I started probably September of 2021. I just wanted to be writing it down. It was kind of a way for me to hold myself accountable, because I felt like I was just really getting far from my practice. So this was an entire one. Sorry, there's like cars, a bunch of cars turning around in front of my house. Like, what the fuck? This was a finished one. In this one, I will say, a lot of the pages I was literally just, let me see here, writing down what my card of every day was. And then also readings. I started out doing fine with that. And then it kind of started feeling like a pain in the ass to write down every single day the card. Like some days the cards just weren't, I don't know a good word. I didn't really know how they fit into my day, or it's not really worth writing that down. I'm never gonna be like in 5 years, what card did I draw on February fucking 23rd of 2022? Like I'm never gonna give a shit about that. I just wasted how much time and paper doing this shit when I'm never gonna look back at this. I don't give a fuck. On March 7th, I drew the King of Swords. I don't care. So I've changed my practice, but I have stuck with it, which is, I'll being completely honest, I didn't think that I was going to. So I've cut out doing the writing down the daily cards. I will admit that I have been slacking since I stopped writing down the daily cards. I have not been doing it as consistently. But yeah, so now I do the simple Sunday spreads by Boho Tarot. That's why I started those, so that it's like forcing me. I don't want to say forcing, but you know, like it's an accountability sort of thing for myself, to myself, that at least once a week I'm drawing cards, right? So I'm got full moon readings in here. New moon readings in here. I always do a page for like decks when I get them. I misspelled grandmothers on the Song of the Grandmothers page. So yeah, it's been, doing this has been a journey for me, kind of figuring out what I'm willing to put up with doing and what's just more than I'm gonna do. I will say I'm pretty proud of myself for sticking with the journaling. Even if it's not every single day like it was there for a while. I kind of found myself dreading even drawing a card, because if I drew a card, then I knew I would like have to write about it later in the day. And that was the thing that would stop me from even drawing a card. Be like, I don't know if I feel like I'm not gonna have time later to do this or whatever. Like, could I have made time? Yeah. But did I fucking feel like it? No. So yeah, my journaling has changed. Honestly, I hope I stick with this, but I'm not gonna like force myself, you know? So anyway, that was my little wrap up for the year 2022. My favorites. So, alright, thanks for watching. Bye.